this episode of The Influencer Talks. Money is one of the most important part of our lives. To talk about our financial management, today we have one of the finest financial advisors in the country, Neeraj Chauhan. He is the founder and CEO of the Financial Mall. Welcome to the show, Neeraj. So,
Thank you. Thank you so much, Atul. Thanks for having me on the show.
right. So, my very first question will be a very basic one, and that is why personal financial management is important in life.
Financial management or a personal financial management is not important. It
Okay.
is the lifeline of individual.
All right.
When we begin our life, we all do our studies, we all do a lot of activities for
Yeah.
what? To live a life financially free, a healthy life and a happy life. And money is a crucial component to achieve that life dream, the goals of your life.
Right.
So it is the backbone of a person to live a life in our materialistic world today. Had it not been materialistic, it would not have been important.
So how do you assess the awareness of such financial management in Indian middle class society, if we talk now?
Atul, that's a very important question you have asked. Money matter is very close to heart for a lot of people, and it is very important,
Right.
especially when there is no formal education system in the country,
Right.
which helps people, which creates awareness about the money matters,
Right.
about the importance of savings, about the importance of investments, to look at a life beyond. A lot of time we look at life today itself and we don't want to look at the future. We
Absolutely.
don't understand a lot of concepts which are involved in personal finance. We are
Right.
not taught that. We have been taught a lot of science. We have been taught a lot of trigonometry in mathematics.
Yeah.
We have been taught a lot of subjects which may or may not be useful to us.
Right.
But the important subject of personal finance, knowing the future value of money, knowing the present value of money, how to calculate interest,
Right.
all this has not been taught. So it is
Right.
very important uh, to have that knowledge, to do it yourself, because a lot of middle class family today,
Mhm.
those who are earning, have not
Right.
been taught that curriculum.
Right.
So it
Right.
is important for all of them, because future is going to come whether you like it or not.
Absolutely. So, tell me one thing. Just you said that it is not taught. Of course, it is not taught. We have done higher secondary, we have done graduation, and I was not even told once save money. How does it work? Can it be included in some kind of education policy? How, because the vast awareness of this is very important, because I'll go to that next, but we see a lot of families, a lot of people individually who are living a very affluent life during their career time, their service or business, whatever it is. But because of this mismanagement of their finances, their retired life was not so comfortable. How will it help if we have something like this, a subject of this, in the education system as it is?
Okay, so I take you through the old ages.
Yeah.
What used to happen in old days. A woman in a family, a smart woman in the family, what they used to do, whenever there was crops, when they used to come to home, so the
Right.
grains used to come, right?
Mhm.
So that intelligent woman used to keep some part of that grain aside, so
Right.
that if in future there is no grain in the house
Ji.
because of certain calamities, natural
Mhm.
calamities which used to happen earlier,
Yeah.
maybe for some days when there are no food at home,
Right.
and that's when she used to pull out and use it. That very grain, right,
Right.
used to feed in the times of distress. That very grain, if you would plow that back into the fields, grow
Right.
more and give you more crops. So,
Right.
so is the money. When we earn today, this money has two components that we need
Yeah.
to understand.
Yeah.
One component which is for consumption today,
Mm-hmm.
and another component which is for the consumption in future. The
Right.
problem is that we don't understand and we consume the future money today also. And
Right.
that's what creates problem.
Ji.
And
Ji.
then when
Absolutely.
that future comes, we are left to fend for ourselves, looking
Right.
here and there. Either we have to work
Ji.
or we have to look at some support system, maybe a government support or the children's support or whatever support you call it.
Right.
So the financial freedom is last at the back of mind. People don't wish to be financially free. And they feel like that they'll be going to work actively throughout their life. There will be no days, whether it is due to health or due to income,
Yeah.
to have that kind of a passive income.
Right. Because the life 50 years back or 40 years back was much more secured, because primarily there were government jobs. Even the private jobs, like, Lala company, we used to say, if you join a company, you continue there for 30 years or 35 years. But the life has become more unsecured now because of the changes, the dynamic changes the economy is going through. So in that case, what is the age? When do you suggest a person should start planning the future?
Atul, you rightly pointed out that a lot of changes has happened, be it a government sector or whatever.
Yeah.
But one important change which has happened and which we are realizing is that from a joint family, now we are into nuclear family.
Absolutely.
Earlier, when there was joint family, there was support system, right? Within a family, if you realize in old days, when there used to be a marriage at home, what used to happen? One cousin is doing this job, one uncle is doing another job, your grandfather is doing something else, your father is doing something. So it was a cohesive coalition.
Absolutely.
Today, we are in a very nuclear family, and nuclear family is further breaking down. Even kids are not there with you, right? So when you are in a nuclear family, there is no joint system, there's no protection. Then you have to, manage yourself.
Right.
So earlier, in government system, which you rightly said, forcibly, all the government servants had some benefit system. They had gratuities in place, they had pensions in place, they had PPF in place.
Right.
But in the current scenario, these things have gone away. Even the government has gone away with the defined pension benefits.
Correct.
Now they are into defined contribution.
Right.
So how do you know? And a lot of people, when we ask them today, they even don't know their number. How do you go to that goal which even you don't know?
Right.
So what is the kind of amount which you need when you are not able to earn actively?
Absolutely.
People don't have that number. So it is very, very paramount first to understand all these nitty-gritties of finance, to understand your numbers well. Then only you can take that baby step in that direction.
Right.
In the absence of all these informations, why you need to do, what you need to do, and how you need to do, you will not do anything. So that's why, as you rightly pointed out, government has changed its systems. Our family systems have changed. Hence, it is far more important now to sit back, think about it, because in our daily grind, we generally don't think all these things.
Absolutely. Now, Neeraj, tell me, once somebody is there to you to manage the finances or to plan something for future, what are the ingredients you take into account to design a particular plan for a person?
We call it a roadmap.
All right.
Right. And I'll take an analogy of people going for, let's say, vacations.
Right. Yeah.
What does a travel planner do? What is the first question he has to ask? Where you want to go?
Right.
Is that the right question?
Yeah, absolutely.
Once you know where you want to go, then only you will come to which transport you have to take, what kind of a budget you need to have, what kind of clothes you have to carry, how much time you need to be there and how much time you need to enjoy that place. So when we, in the financial balance, when we ask them, okay, what is your goal? What is your objective? What is your lifestyle? If your lifestyle today is, let's say, X, you need X amount of money month after month to live your life. What that contribution of the cash flow would be 15, 20, 25, 30 years down the line when you want yourself to be financially free.
Right.
And to have that number, what is the kind of contribution which is required to accumulate that sum of amount? And then you start looking at an instrument which are available in the market to have that kind of a ROI which is required to reach that goal.
Absolutely.
And it's a lifeline. Like, let's say today, a person who comes to me, the age is 40.
Yeah.
And the lifespan is, let's say, 85. It's 45 years from now.
Right.
When it's 45 years from now, how much of that time period looks to be a earning time span when he's going to actively earn? Let's say it is 15 years from now. So in next 15 years, he has to earn for those 15 years,
As well
and
as
then he
cost.
has to earn for next 30 years,
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
right? If he has not saved money earlier, then maybe in these 15 years, he have to send his kids to the education, he has to marry their kids, then that money is also required.
Right.
So you have to look at what you have today,
Yeah.
where you want to go,
Yeah.
and how you are going to bridge that gap.
Right.
And in the meantime, you have to also manage the risk, which we call as what if. What if you are not there?
Right.
What if your earning capabilities go away? What if you lose your job?
Right.
So
Right.
all these things can be penned down and thought through before taking any investment decision.
Right.
In our country, a lot of people, they chase instruments. Okay,
Mhm.
which instrument is bad? Should I invest in FD? Should I invest in real estate? Should I buy gold? Should I buy equity? What do I do?
Right.
That's the last question. The
Okay.
first question is why. So answer your why first.
Mhm. Mhm.
How and how, when, and is later to be answered.
Correct.
So for me, why is very, very important for any planning, be it a financial planning or whatever.
Great. Now, the most important question which comes first thing in the mind, how to choose the right financial advisor.
The answer to this question is now very, very simple.
Right.
Now SEBI has come out with the regulation called as a registered investment advisor, right?
All right.
So they
Okay.
can look at the list of RIAs which is there.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can also ask in your known circle if they are
Yeah.
using services of any financial advisor planner who has an experience, who has a knowledge, who has
Yeah.
a qualification on his side, and who
Right.
has been delivering to the clients.
Right.
That is more important rather than just going and googling it is not going
Right.
to help because you don't know the credentials. It is
Right.
a money matter. The credentials are very, very important.
Right.
So
Right.
on regulation side, you look for RIA, which is
Mm-hmm.
SEBI RIA regulation is in place.
Okay. All
On
right.
other side, check the credential checks from your known circle.
Yeah.
Look for an advisor who is qualified, who has an experience, and who has been through all these ups and downs of financial markets and life, and who understand markets, who understand
Right.
finance, and
Yeah.
who has empathy. Who understands the client.
Right.
It's not
Right.
only about the money matters because when a financial planner is involved,
Yeah.
a lot of things comes into play. He is part of a family. If
Absolutely.
there
Absolutely.
has to be a will, then he is one of the trusted person.
So you have almost 30, 32 years of experience in this field. So what is the question which people ask you before going for any kind of arrangement with you? How do you actually tell them to come, why they need it's actually the same question, but in practical reasons, what are the kind of questions you are asked when you approach somebody or somebody approaches you?
So it's largely, whenever somebody approaches you, my first question is why you have come to me.
Right.
Because there must be definitely something which brought you here.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? Please let me know.
Right.
We definitely ask them, oh, okay, if you had an advisor earlier, why you want to leave him?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There can be expectation mismatch. The client might be
Okay.
expecting which either me or any other advisor is not able to deliver.
Right. Right.
Right? If the logic is, and we are culturally fit for each other, we take client on board. We generally ask, do you know your numbers?
Mm-hmm.
How much you are investing and why you are investing? Where you want to go? What is your expectation? What is your risk profiling?
Right.
Why you have invested where you have invested?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people have invested. They have investments in place.
Yeah.
When we ask them why they have invested, the answer is मेरे चाचा के बेटे ने ये दिलाया था या some banker has come and sold it to me
Right.
because his
Yeah.
target
Yeah.
was to be fulfilled. This is my colleague who started this business and that's why I bought it.
Correct. Correct.
Very rarely I got to know a client or an investor who knows that he invested for a particular reason and he's following that. He's towards that path of achievement of his goals. Very,
Right.
very few.
All right. There are very few, you say, but and very few they understand what exactly they require, how clear they are, what is their requirement, and how do you help them, right? So somebody, a person of say 35 years of age, comes to you, married about 5 years back, at the age of 30, has two kids now, and he comes to you without any knowledge how to move forward. So what I will have in next, say, after the retirement age. So what do you expect them to let you know that this is how it is to be done? This is what their expectation is. See, सबको clear नहीं होता है कि उनको क्या चाहिए. So how do you actually tell them what exactly is their requirement? Do you help in that as an advisor?
There are two parts to it, Atul. One is that they know what is required,
Right,
and two is they don't know what they don't know.
right,
So
right,
we help them to know, make them aware what they don't know,
right,
and what is important. There might be certain things which are not important,
right.
and when we earn, we all have our limitations because a cash flow is limited.
Absolutely.
For you, a number could be X. For someone
Mhm.
else, that number could be 10X. But still, it is limited. It is not an infinite resource,
Right,
right?
right, right. Absolutely.
So within those resources,
Uh-huh.
how you are going to achieve, what are your goals? You pen down your goals and then strike off those goals which are not a priority,
Right, right,
right? So make them prioritize by priority goal number 1, 2, 3, 4.
right.
And a lot of time what happens, I take another step.
J.
Let's say there are three goals of a client. One is
Right,
a retirement or a financial freedom goal. Another is a child education goal.
right.
Third could be buying a home. Fourth
Mhm.
could be a child marriage goal.
Absolutely.
These are four goals.
J.
But with his resources, he can complete only two goals. So
Okay.
now which two goals are important?
Uh-huh.
Most of the time we have seen that retirement goal is at the
Is
back burner.
at the back bar. Right. Absolutely.
At
Absolutely.
the back burner. And the first goal comes as a child education or a child
Okay.
marriage.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And when I ask a client, okay, have you ever traveled by air? He says
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Yeah.
So what is the announcement which crew makes before taking off,
Help yourself first. True.
right? What they
Absolutely.
say.
Absolutely.
Then in the event of emergency,
Mm-hmm.
if the oxygen mask comes down, please
Right.
put your mask first.
Absolutely.
But what we are doing in financial industry or when it comes to finance,
Mm-hmm.
we are feeding the kids first, keeping
Right.
ourselves later.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
And if I ask the client, okay, Mr. Client, tell me one thing. Financial institution which gives you loan for a retirement,
Yeah.
you have education loan available, you have house loan available,
Yeah.
but there's no institution in the country or a
Which
social
gives.
security which gives you loan for your retirement. So what is
Absolutely.
important? So that's how we engage client and make them aware of the importance of prioritization of their goals and
Right.
then allocating the resources to those goals.
How far do you see the government role comes in for the social security? Because in India, I think it's very, very less. And even in the third world countries, couple of countries I visited, even they have little better social security than India. How do you see it? Ki, matlab, what government role could be there?
See, everything costs, right? We
Absolutely.
are definitely asking from the government that there should be a social responsibility because we have to provide social security. But
Right.
where is the money to
Mm-hmm.
the government? Because if you look at the some other countries in the developed economies, they are also struggling with their social securities
Absolutely.
because the collections are lesser.
Right.
And
Right.
retirement or a financial freedom, be it a medical social security or a financial security in their old ages,
Yeah.
the problem with this, Atul, is that you don't know the quantum.
Absolutely.
How long a person is going to live, we don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's where the problem is.
Mm-hmm.
Here, the role of the government is to educate their citizens the importance. At least, if not a defined benefit, they should definitely go for a defined contribution. And if you look at a lot of initiatives taken by the government to
Uh-huh.
have small pensions for the daily wage workers, to have pension for self-employed entrepreneurs,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's a baby step which government is taking in that direction. But it's not enough.
Right.
There
Right.
has to be some mandatory deductions from the citizens
Yeah.
so that it can be plowed back for their welfare.
All
And
right.
that's what is important. And another important, as I said in the beginning of our talk,
Mhm.
There has to be an education system where we teach our kids
Yeah.
the importance of money. We
Money.
teach them the personal finance lessons in their life
Right. Right.
so that they are financially prudent as and when they start earning and they begin their career.
Absolutely.
Today, the irony is when someone goes for a job, first importance is not to save money for the future to start an investment plan. His priority is to buy a gadget.
Engage it.
His
True.
priority is to buy a car. His priority is
Right.
to go for international vacations. And the younger generation, which goes on their career
Absolutely.
journey now,
Yeah.
they say, live for today, we'll see tomorrow when it comes. So
Absolutely.
that's the attitude
That's the attitude going on now.
which needs to be corrected. And
Yeah.
it's good for all. It's good for the individual. It's
Right.
good for the government because at the end of the day, the responsibility is going to fall back
Yes.
on them.
Absolutely.
And it's for the parents.
Yeah. Yeah. Last 8 to 10 months have been real disastrous for economy or even for individuals due to this pandemic, corona pandemic. What kind of impact do you see this on the planning for individual financial plannings? What kind of impact is had?
Okay. It has definitely helped the financial planning industry or the financial planners for that matter. Because
Okay.
somewhere this Black Swan event has actually triggered a consciousness to a lot of people that
Yeah.
saving is very important.
Right.
Those who were prepared, they could handle these situations much better
Hmm.
than the ones those who didn't had money at their pockets or the bank balances. It has
Okay.
also kind of uh, highlighted the importance of financial investments over a physical investments
Okay. Right. Right.
because people had investments in real estate
Yeah. Yeah.
and they are stuck
We just
because that
busted.
is not generating any cash. There's no cash
Exactly.
flow from that.
Exactly. Yeah.
And eventually you need hard cash to have your
To
bread and
survive.
butter to live your
Absolutely.
life.
Absolutely.
So that's another.
That's
Third
yeah.
important thing which has happened is the importance of health insurance. A
Right.
lot of hospitals have charged exorbitantly high amount in the beginning till the time a lot of regulations and that has come from the government.
Correct.
But till then there is a free flow. Hospitals were asking as high as few crores.
G. G. G.
So a lot of clients they understood the importance of health insurance and then the life insurance. And another important aspect which people are now realizing is to have a will in place.
Have it. Sorry.
Have a will in place.
All right. All right. Yes. 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 That's
And
very
so
important thing. Yeah.
yeah, so what we were teaching for all along,
Yeah.
maybe this COVID has taught a lot of people their lessons,
Yeah.
and some have smartly learned from it and
Yeah.
taking the right steps.
Tell me couple of incidents in a long career, couple of incidences which you remember were very unique from your clients and they insisted on fulfilling it, which may or may not be falling into your line of action.
Okay, I give you some couple of examples.
Right.
A client of mine,
Mm-hmm.
a decent client, right? He had a portfolio with us.
Yeah.
So one day he asked for a decent sum for a luxury car.
Okay.
And we said, sir, you don't need it because आपने घर से ऑफिस जाना है, ऑफिस से वापस आना है.
Uh, uh,
And maybe we can buy it down the line. Not right now. This is not a good time to buy it.
okay.
Eventually, it is going to be parked only. So why to put that money in a depreciating asset which is not required? But
Right.
emotions and money sometimes
Yeah.
don't gel well, right?
Absolutely.
So I
Yeah.
said fine, but I still want it. Fair
Okay.
enough. We
Mm.
we liquidated some of his investments,
All right.
the tune of that amount, and paid him. After 6 months, what I
Mm-hmm.
said, I sent him a text saying,
Mm-hmm.
sir, congrats, the value of your car has gone up by 25%. He called me back, Neeraj, are you nuts?
Uh-huh.
Matlab, how the value of my car has gone up by 25%?
Mm-hmm.
The portfolio which we liquidated is up by 20%
Oh.
today. Had you not withdrawn?
Oh. Oh. Oh.
So the cost of that car has gone up. He was in
Oh.
complete awe and shock. He said, buddy, I'll kill you. But since then, at least that was the message delivered. And since then, she started realizing the importance. Because the money you are withdrawing today is not the value today you are withdrawing. You are withdrawing from your future.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right? So you are withdrawing much, much more. The impact of that money in your future is quite large.
Right. Right.
Another example which I will give you is one day I was called by one of my client who is into his 75, 80 age bracket.
Okay.
And they gave me an envelope.
Mm-hmm.
And that envelope carried some money. I said, what is this? They said, these are our blessings for you. So means, okay, yesterday was your birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Had you not been with us, we would not have been in this position to give blessings to all our kids, to all our grandchildren, to have that kind of a cash flow which we have today.
Right.
And do whatever we want to do without being dependent on anybody else.
Right. Okay.
And that literally brought me a kind of fulfillment with some tears in my eyes. I said, I can't take it. I can't accept it. It's good to have your blessings. Thank you so very much.
Yeah.
So when a client give you these kind of comments, these kind of blessings, that you made difference to somebody's life,
right?
I think that is a fulfilling experience for us. And we have many such experiences in our career.
Yeah, yeah. But tell me one thing, what is the kind of investment still Indians or middle class families they prefer? I think it's still if they're fixed deposit?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
People still want to deploy fixed deposits as their preferred financial instrument.
Yeah.
They still prefer to put money into real estate, and they still love to buy gold.
Yeah, gold is
somewhere financial assets are still far away.
Okay, okay. And what about investing in the shares? What is the kind of ratio?
Very minimalistic, very minimalistic. If you look at the equity investors, even the domestic investors is very, very low in Indian stock markets.
Right.
FIs today still hold a major component. To give an example, just a stock like HDFC Bank.
Yeah.
Which bank is this? Is it an Indian bank or a foreign bank? I'm asking you, Atul.
Oh.
HDFC Bank, is it an Indian bank or a foreign bank?
It's an Indian bank.
That's a misnomer.
Oh, okay.
You look at the holding. The 60% holding is with foreigners.
Okay. All right. All right.
Okay. So who is holding? So it's not an Indian bank. And it is earning in your territory. Indians who are promoting this banking, the HDFC Bank. Yeah. But who is making money out of it? Who is profiting out of it?
Okay, then it's like
foreigners. Right? And sometimes I quote to a lot of people and investors, okay, if you have money and you have to make that investment, you go to HDFC Bank, you make a fixed deposit. How much you make? 6%, 7%, and you pay 30%, 20%, 10% taxes on that.
Right, right.
The smart chap, the foreigner guy comes from outside, buys stock, and he makes 16% on it.
All right.
So who is making money at whose cost?
Absolutely. Okay.
But you look at a risk, not understanding that not holding is a risk.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Right? If you are investing at 5% and the inflation is 7%, you are losing money 2% year after year without taking a risk. It is very important to understand that equity, a lot of people look at it as only punting in the market, which is not the case. When you buy into equity, people don't realize that you are actually buying businesses.
Right.
You are taking part in the or in their profits. Of course, losses also there.
Yeah.
But basically, if you come with a mindset of participating in the growth story of your economy, in the growth story of that company, that product, without actually investing. Today, if you go and put up an industry, how much money, how much efforts, how much risk you need to carry. But today, if I want to buy, let's say, a stock like Pidilite, right? We all know Fevicol, the major brand.
Yeah.
The guy is making money for you. You just have to participate by being an investor.
Right.
But the moment you buy stock, you start looking at your pink paper or daily news, market gir gaya, market chad gaya, and that's when you lose capital. So invest and stay invested in a good quality company. We have a plethora of good companies in the country. And India, as you know, is an emerging market. It's time to be in India.
Right. So you see a good future for your business. Basically, the investors are going to be there. The people who will go for the financial management in next 5 years?
Any day. There are a lot of people when we see, even good decent people, they are not aware of financial juggleries. They are not aware of financial complications, and most importantly, everyone needs the hand holding, because it's not only about maths. It's about the behavioral finance. It's about the behavior, how you behave in a particular moment, and someone needs to counsel you, guide you, constantly reminding you of the importance, what to do, what not to do. Otherwise, what happens? People invest in fixed deposit when it's time to invest in equity, and people invest in equity when it's time to invest in fixed deposits.
Right.
And because greed and fear always at play.
Absolutely. I am one of the examples. I have no interest in equity. So long time back, about 1.5 decades back, I had some money I invested through somebody, and every day used to call me up, said, "Isme dal dein, usme dal dein." I said, "I know nothing. You do something for me. I have no idea." And finally, I lost the entire amount. So that day it was like, and I see a lot of people who have actually lost money because of in these kind of things. So finding a good advisor is really important.
That's one part to it. Another part is educate yourself, right? Financial advisor definitely helps you, but you should also get educated, because buying a stock, in India, or I would say rather in other countries as well, because we have traveled and we have seen how investors behave in different part of the world. They don't buy stock because the company is good. They don't evaluate that company themselves. It is because someone has come on some channel, or some friend, or some colleague, or some relative has recommended a stock to buy because it can go up.
Absolutely.
Without understanding the basic fundamentals. That's where we get trapped. So if you buy a good stock, if you buy a good company, I would say don't look at a stock, look at the company, its business, its profitability, its cash flow, its revenue, its debt.
Fundamentals of the company, basically.
Fundamentals of the company.
Yeah.
If the fundamentals are good, if not today, tomorrow it will definitely give you good, decent returns. So we should focus on those. And if you invest in good businesses, you are going to beat inflation. You are going to grow your capital, and you're definitely going to be rewarded for the risk which you take by investing in these companies.
Great. So now, finally, I want 3 points from you for those youngsters sitting out there who need to plan their financials now.
Point number 1 is start saving and investing from the day you start earning.
All right.
If you start doing that, you will meet your goals in life. Just keep 20% of your income as an investment and spend rest. No issues.
Right.
As long as you start saving 20% of income from day one of your earnings. Take calculated risk. You don't have to be safe with the entire investment. At the same time, don't go overboard on any single asset class. Keep diversification in place, which is very, very important. And 3, manage your risk well, because managing risk is very, very important.
Right.
Otherwise, you will lose all your capital if you just punt on the stocks, or if you just go hearsay. And educate yourself. Read a lot about the personal finance.
Great. So Neeraj, I think even I will have to meet you very soon. Thank you very much for your time, and thanks for being on the Influencer Talks.
Thank you, Atul. Thank you for me having on your show. I hope that whatever we have discussed, if it changes even one life, our show is done, and I think it would be good take up.
Very true. Thank you. Thank you, Neeraj.
Thank you so much. Thank you.